Electoral Commission. In Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been given the mandate by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to organize and conduct elections into political offices. The universal adult suffrage is operated in Nigeria. INEC is headed by a chairman, and each state of the federation is headed by a president electoral commissioner, whose duty is to ensure that all electoral processes are followed in the conduct of election in the state. There are the assistant electoral officers of the local government level. There are also the federal electoral commissioners who assist the chairman at the INEC headquarters in the FCT, Abuja. Functions of INEC. INEC functions in different ways. Some are: 1. To educate eligible voters and candidates about the processes of election. 2. To set a timetable on how elections will be held. 3. To register and update voters' register. 4. To register political parties that meet the requirements of the law. 5. To recruit and train its staffs. 6. It also allocates funds to political parties to organize and conduct elections. They also provide electoral materials and logistics for election. The Commission counts and announces the results of the election. The Commission issues certificates of return to the winner of an election. And finally on my list, it handles petitions and complaints arising from an election. Thing 5. Limitation of human rights. Human rights can be limited due to some circumstances. Despite the fact that every human being has fundamental human rights, an individual may be denied this right under some circumstances. The following are some of them: political unrest or war. During war, political crisis, religious or ethnic crisis, the government may proclaim a state of emergency, which will detract from the citizens the rights under the rule of law. Under the state of emergency, the government may restrict freedom of movement and freedom of expression. Also, in the event of war, the government may be compelled or have no choice to conscript people into the army. This means that the government may be forced to enroll people into the army compulsorily without their consent, which is a breach of human rights. Conviction in a law court. A person who breaks the law may be deprived of some of its rights. These rights may include the privation of the right to movement or right to life. This occurs if a court of law finds the person guilty of any crime. In addition, a hardened criminal in a police custody can be denied the right to freedom of torture. Period of economic depression or crisis. During economic depression, government may not be able to guarantee some rights, especially right to employment or right to education, as a result of the depressed economy. The event of defamation of character. A person who feels that his personality has been damaged by somebody has written or said, by what somebody has written or said about him, may go to the law courts, and this in turn may cost the writer his fundamental human rights, like right to expression. Voting. Voting is limited by age. The right to vote and be voted for is limited by age, which is a limitation or denial of an individual's rights. Only 18 years and above can vote in an election in Nigeria. Right to acquire and own property. This right is limited and can last. For instance, properties can be confiscated or seized for state use. Also, a particular house or land can be acquired or destroyed if such property constitutes a threat. Measures of safeguarding fundamental human rights. Entrenching firmly human rights in the Constitution so that people who feel that their rights have been violated can seek a redress in the court of law. That is, when these rights have legal and firm standing in the Constitution, it is easy for anyone denied of their rights to go to the court and seek a redress for their cause. There must be independent judiciary capable of giving fair and appropriate judgments in cases involving the violation of human rights. That is, the judiciary must be independent of any external interference so as to be able to give fair, proper and appropriate judgments in case of any violation of human rights. The state must uphold press freedoms so that it can expose cases of human rights violation or abuses. That is, the press must be free from interference, must be free from state interference, so they can expose different cases of human rights violation and abuses such as child abuse, women trafficking, child trafficking, and so on. Mass literacy is an important tool in the protection of fundamental human rights. Citizens need basic education in order to identify their rights and challenge any of its violations. That is, the citizens of a community, a society, or a state need to be educated. They need to come to the awareness of their rights so as to be able to fight back or voice out in case of violations of their rights. Inalienable rights. This means that all human rights should not be taken away except in specific situations and according to due process of the law. For example, if a citizen is found guilty in the law court of any crime. Universal Declaration of the Rights of Man. On December 10, 1948, the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights came into existence as a convention which gave power to the promoting of citizens' rights by member countries. UDHR sees human rights as inherent to all human beings, whatever the nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnic origin, national origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. That is, the fundamental human rights applies to every individual. The rights can be said to be interrelated, interdependent, and indivisible.